Let's take you back to the JSE, where Arabile is standing by with Capitec CEO Gerrie Fourie. Arabile, over to you.
Yeah, well, good afternoon, Nzinga. Well, as you said, an interesting set of earnings do come out this morning. Gerrie Fourie, the CEO of Capitec, is joining me now as we unpack those. And let's get straight into it. Mr. Fourie, thank you so much for your time. As you can tell from the board behind you, 3% higher. Clearly a good set of earnings with a half-year profit going up 20%. Let's talk about exactly what it is you think you did in this interim period to boost things.
Yeah, I think a very good set of results. We're quite pleased with it. I think what drove it was firstly client numbers. We're still increasing our client numbers with plus minus 109,000 clients per month. So we're now at 10.5 million clients. I think what is important is we've got close to 5 million banking clients that are actually banking with ourselves, using as a primary bank account. And then a very big move to self-help, people on the app. We've got now 1.8 million clients that's on the app, doing 146 million transactions. Last month we did 30 million transactions on the app. So we're seeing a big move to self-help. And that enables our clients to actually, our consultants to actually really spend quality time with clients when they're in the branch. And then I think on the credit side, we did exceptionally well, because it's a difficult economic situation out there, and I think we've made the right calls last year. We've pulled back in certain areas, and we didn't have strong credit growth, but if we take our arrears actually dropped with about 10%. So overall on credit, I think we've done exceptionally well.
A lot of people take a look at your bank charges, your costs, and say, you know, perhaps you're the market leader in that account. And clearly, it is shown in the 109,000 customers, as you said, that you keep attracting every month. But where do you think is, shall I call, a saturation point? How much more of the market share do you think you can take up?
Well, it's an interesting question. We actually said to ourselves last year, where's it gonna stop? We made calculations, came to 12, 13 million clients. But you know, it doesn't go for me about the 10.5. Yes, it's nice to have those numbers, but it's actually how many clients is actually banking with ourselves. Like I said, the 5 million, that's actually the figure that we are actually focusing on. And currently we're enjoying it. So I think if we can keep up on our brand promise of simplicity and transparency, letting the client really understand what is happening in his financial lives, then we're quite happy.
The state of South Africa's economy, though, how has that translated into the business? Yes, fine, you've gotten more customers, but have you seen transaction value perhaps decrease?
It's interesting, transaction value has actually stayed the same, but what we've definitely seen is that our number of transactions has increased, and that's just the quality of client that's coming in. For example, on the app, 4 months ago we did 12 transactions per month. Now we're doing 15 transactions per month per client. But what you definitely have seen, we analyze overtime and recurring bonuses over a period, and we've definitely seen in the last 6-7 months that there's a drop-off. So you can definitely see companies are not paying overtime and are not paying bonuses. And then on the expense line, I think we all know inflation is up, we know fuel prices is up, so there is pressure on the client. I think that's helping us on the client numbers, because people are looking for value, people are looking to understand their financial lives. And I think our fixed pricing philosophy works, because people know if you do an ATM transaction, it costs you so much. If you do a debit order, it costs you so much. So there's no ad valorem, there's no hidden cost. It's very straightforward. What you see is what you get.
Yeah. People will ask a lot of questions perhaps about your micro-lending business. You spoke a little bit earlier about doing fairly well in that credit space. You need to perhaps continue to, you know, show the market that you will continue to do well. How do you make sure you don't, slip up when it comes to that credit side as well of your business?
Well, we don't see ourselves as a micro lender anymore, because that's your typical, the old micro lender was, your typical 1 to 6 month market. We now operating from 1 to 84 months, up to 250,000 rand. So, the average car in South Africa is 120,000. So we way above that. I think the other thing that we've done is we've reduced prices quite a lot. We go now as low as 12.9% on unsecured lending. Very competitive. You can go and look at your prime rate now at 10%. And then about close to 40% of our clients is now getting loans below 20%. So that's all in line to working on the client and making certain the client, we satisfy the needs of the client.
Yeah. South Africa in a recession, does that concern you perhaps for business moving on into the rest of the full year?
For sure. I think it's paramount that South Africans, I'm talking politicians, government, private sector, that we work together, because what we need is radical growth. We need South Africa to grow because we just got such a beautiful country. And the only way we're going to get it is if every single person in South Africa work and say, how do we grow it? Because we need to create jobs. We can't have a 26-27% unemployment rate.
Yeah.
So I think that to me is the number priority. We need to work together to actually unlock the full potential.
Mr. Fourie, really appreciate your time this afternoon as well there. Gerrie Fourie is the CEO of Capitec, unlocking and unpacking the results there from the bank. We will unpack a little bit more as well with Michael Traherne from Vestec Portfolio Managers, Asset Management rather, right after the break, so do stay tuned.